What's up, friends? Welcome to another news style type of video. So I guess news specifically for veterans out there, either Army or even Marines. It really doesn't matter the branch of service, as this applies military wide. Now, like I said, it is mainly for veterans, but this may still, be beneficial to those of you that may be interested in joining the Army or currently in the Army, to kind of give you a heads up of some cool changes that are happening. Now, the changes that are happening, this news actually came out in July. I'm only just now seeing it. Maybe some of you have already seen this information, but it affects who is allowed to use the commissary and the PX. So first of all, you should probably know who is allowed to use the commissary and the PX if you're not currently military or veteran. So individuals that are currently in the military are allowed to. We have veterans that are retired. We have veterans that are Medal of Honor recipients. You have veterans that have received 100% disability from the VA. So that means individuals that maybe only served, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, then got out, no longer have access to like the commissary or the PX. Now, with the exception of individuals that are still on like an IRR. So if you're, did 4 years in the Army, you have a commitment to 8. So then you have 4 years of the IRR, the inactive reserves, then you still have like a little ID card for the inactive reserves, and you're still allowed to use the commissary and the PX for that. But for someone like me, who only did 10 years in the Army, well, not only 10 years, but did 10 years in the Army, I guess, got out, I was outside that 8-year window, but didn't retire or anything like that, so I don't get, commissary privileges or PX privileges. But now that is what is changing. Effective January 1st, 2020, other individuals will be able to access the PX and the commissary with some more stipulations to that. The stipulations are, if you are a veteran who received a Purple Heart, you will be eligible to be able to use the commissary or PX. Veterans who have a disability rating of 0 to 90%, and individuals that are like caregivers for a veteran. Now, before this went into effect, actually veterans were allowed to use the PX's website online to make purchases and have them shipped to their homes, but they couldn't actually go into a physical PX on base. Also, probably to note for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with the VA system, 90 to 100%, there's not like an in-between, like a 95 or 93, and you're thinking, oh man, this sucks if I got 95%, then I'm not, high enough for 100%, but I'm not 90%, so I don't get to use the PX. Does that mean? No, it goes in increments of 10. Now, with the qualifying factor of 0 to 90% for a VA rating, if a soldier just simply goes to the VA when they're getting out of the Army, submits their claims, submits their medical records, there's a very good chance you're probably gonna have something that's at minimum going to be at least 0%. That means you don't get like any kind of VA compensation for that, but if later in life that becomes an issue, it's service connected to say that, hey, this was an issue that happened from the Army and now I'm, whatever age, and now it's starting to bother me, and you can up that rating. So usually just by a minimum of, if a soldier just does the process of submitting their medical history to the VA from when they were in the military, then you're probably gonna get something at least at 0%. Now, if by any chance, whatever, you didn't do the VA process because you didn't want to, or you did submit everything and for whatever crazy reason, there was like absolutely nothing on your record that they're like qualified for any kind of rating, but a lot of times that's really hard because sometimes just being stationed in certain locations or being in during a certain time frame, a lot of times qualifies you at least for certain things like, being just a 0% for that. Especially like a really common one is hearing. So usually you have something on there for like a little bit of hearing loss or tinnitus or something that's usually on there. So it's very rare that someone's not gonna have just anything on a VA kind of rating unless you just didn't simply go to the VA. So this definitely opens up the window for a lot of soldiers to be able to use the commissary and the PX. Now, there is also a little bit of a catch with that. Now, going to the PX, that's fine. There's no real catch to that, but the commissary does have a little bit of a catch to that. And that is, if you're gonna be using a credit card to purchase the groceries at the commissary, there is gonna be a little bit of fee for those individuals in this category. This fee is not associated for individuals who are retirees or Medal of Honor recipients or 100% disability or anything like that, but those other individuals that are newly qualified that I'm talking about here, those individuals are gonna have to pay a little bit of a fee if using a credit card. If you wanna avoid that fee, pay cash or pay check, or if you have like a military star card, then you can possibly use that and not have to pay a fee. But this fee does not apply for the PX, so just kind of keep that in mind as well. Now, for my veterans out there, you might also be curious, how do I use this? Now, like I said, as of January 1st, this will be, in effect. So, as what you're gonna need is a VA ID card. If you are in the VA system and you have gone through the process of getting a VA ID card from the VA, then that ID card is what you'll be able to use. That will also allow you to get on base too. So if you don't have a retiree ID card or whatever, if you have a VA card, you can use that to scan to get onto base, and you'll use that to make your purchases at the PX or at the commissary. So if you don't currently have a VA identification card, maybe contact your local VA. I think you can do it online now, or go visit your local VA so that you can be able to get that VA identification card and be able to utilize it to get on an Army base, a military base, even Coast Guards, and be able to use it in the PX, BX, and the commissaries. So for my veteran viewers out there that maybe currently don't have any kind of PX or commissary privileges, do you think this new change will kind of, motivate you to actually want to go on base to be able to utilize these privileges if you have a chance? Maybe if you have a military installation near you or whatever. Love to hear about it down in the comment section down below. All right, if you enjoyed this video, show some love by hitting that thumbs up. Recommendations right over there. Check out those videos. They're really, really awesome. I promise you. Check out the links down in the description, social media, and much more. I'm ThatChrisChaos. I'll see you next time. See ya.